Good morning. Here we are. It's Monday morning. It's about 4:30 in the morning here. Got to get some training in early this morning. Got other things I got to do throughout the day and throughout the week, really. So that's a reason for being in here so early. Clearly, starting out with squats. Working up to a double at a 9 today. Now, the reason that I mentioned the time, besides the fact that it's just out of the ordinary, I've noticed that since it is so early in the morning, I'm having to work a lot harder on my focus and concentration. I keep talking about my mental checklist, especially with the squat. So one thing I'm noticing is that this morning I've got to work a lot harder to hit all those steps. Anyway, I'm going to do what I can to explain a little bit more about my mental checklist this morning. I'll kind of do that as we go through the working sets here. The first work set for this morning at 6:45. Like I said, we're going up to a double at a 9 today, so this one will be a double. The weights seem like they've run a little bit slow. Like I said, that's probably due to lack of concentration. So really got to pull it together and focus on these lifts and really get something out of it this morning. So, here we go, 6:45 for a double. All right, not bad. My second rep on that set was faster than the first. So that would indicate that my nervous system is still ramping up. Considering the time of day, that's not surprising at all. I'm sticking with the plan and moving up to 685 for my next double. I just want to touch real quickly on the walkout for this set. I'll show a little bit more of my initial setup on this next set, but basically what I'm doing, set my grip, get my feet under the bar, get the bar placement just right on my back and shoulders. And the real focus during this time is just setting up the same every time. From first couple warm-ups, sometimes you got to get your shoulders loosened up, but as soon as you can, start setting up the same way every time. It's really important. You just ingrain that habit, So, get the bar placed correctly, take a couple deep breaths. For me, I found I can keep my upper back tighter if I'm head up during the pre-walkout stage. So head up a couple breaths, big breath in, brace the abs, push against the belt. And then I like to look down and see where I'm putting my feet as I walk out. So pick the bar, let it settle for a second, and then I do a 2-step walkout. 1, 2, and I'm right where I need to be. 3 or 4-step walkout is fine. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. It's just that you do it the same every time. Don't take a lot of steps if you can help it. The fewer the better. It's just more energy efficient. So, all right, that's up to the walkout. So, I'm going to do this next set, and then we'll touch on the pre-squat checklist. That's where things get a little more interesting. that one wasn't as fast as it probably ought to have been. Just not popping it, not able to concentrate like I normally am. I mean, it sounds like something you just think, well, just pay attention more, but it's more difficult than that. As I said, I told you up through the walkout phase. Now, once you've got the bar out, you've got your squat set up. I call this the pre-squat phase, the part where you're still actively doing stuff, but it's before you start to descend. For me, it's all about weight shift and balance. So I find that I can breathe better if my weight is on my toes. So I'll shift my weight forward on my toes just a little bit, get a big breath in, and I've got a spot on the floor that I'm looking down about at this angle. So 6, 8, 10 feet in front of me, I'm looking at a spot on the floor. And that's something just from a mechanical standpoint, I found that it helps me. So if I'm looking down on a spot here, I notice that I can sit back into the lift better. Whereas if my head is up, I just can't. Videoing from the side, I can see that for sure. So I've got a spot on the floor that I'm looking at. As I said, I shift my weight forward on my toes, big breath in. Then I shift my weight back and on the outsides of my heels. And just for me, I've found that my descent speed is quicker if I can put the weight at the right spot on my foot. And then my knees tend to track better with that as well. So during this, I'm thinking, the weight shift has been happening for a long time, so I don't think about that quite as consciously. But it's just big breath in, get my weight back, and as I said, it's on the back and outside of my heels. And it's at that point that I start the descent on the squat. During the descent, I'm thinking about, and initially it's speed, because if I bring the bar down with a little bit of authority, it's got to be in control. If it's too fast to be lowered in control, then it's going to be a disaster. So however fast that is for you, quick but in control. So the first thing I'm thinking is speed, and then as I start the descent, I'm thinking depth. Because for me, I just really have to consciously think about it in order to even get in the neighborhood. So I'm thinking about depth. And then once I hit depth, I just think about driving with just complete effort. Once you get under load, it's a lot more difficult to think about all those things and concentrate on all of them with the level of concentration that you need. I know when I do it well, I squat well. When I don't do it well, I squat mediocre at best. So today, hopefully I pull this together. We went up to 705, which is about 20 pounds less than I wanted, but we'll see. This is what I think I've got today, so I'm trying to stick to the protocol. And if I come through and it looks like I've got a lot more in the tank than this, then I might do another set. So, but first it's this one, and we'll see what happens next.